I don't think people realize how remarkable of a year 2023 was for new roller coasters. Like, there's certainly plenty to look forward to in 2024 as well, but in comparison, 2023 brought 4 new world-class coasters to the world and plenty more on top of that. For this year's recap, I wanted to rank the top 15 best roller coasters to open up this year, even though I did not get to ride all of the good ones. I did do the big 4 that I think would unanimously rank in the top 4 for anyone though. But otherwise, I didn't get around to a lot of the new coasters that people have been talking about. And since I don't just want to pick from this small pool that I've ridden, I want to use general consensus in the roller coaster enthusiast community to figure out approximately where they would rank. Will it be 100% accurate? Probably not, but I found that it was the best case scenario if I wanted to make this video, which I alone wanted to do because it's an excuse for me to talk about the 4 elite ones I did ride. So let's waste no more time and get things started with our number 15 spot, and that's sort of a tiebreaker slash honorable mention. I want to talk about Primordial at Lagoon and Mission Ferrari at Ferrari World. These were 2 long-awaited dark ride coasters that opened for the first time this year, and I didn't feel entirely comfortable ranking them since I've kept the theming spoiler free and haven't heard many reviews to begin with. I think they'd both rank fairly high all things considered, but I'm certainly not qualified, and I imagine it'd be difficult to place these anyway since they're majority dark ride. Anyway, on to the rest of the list. Number 14, Dark Coaster at Busch Gardens Williamsburg. This is one of the more minor additions here in America that I got to check out back in August. Even though it hasn't even been open for a year, I already think it's pretty underrated and a terrific family attraction. Considering what Busch Gardens Williamsburg had to work with, I think the layout is a lot of fun, and the theming, while not amazing, adds to the experience. Plus, I'm a big fan of the straddle seating that makes you feel all the more exposed. Number 13, Cloud Shuttle at Fanta Wild Wonderland. Located in China, this world's first Vekoma Super Boomerang looks like a fascinating ride. It's got a handful of launches forwards and backwards, and a set of inversions that look to provide some intense hang time. We're not totally sure how forceful it'll be, which I found hit or miss with new Vekoma coasters. But soon, we will know when an identical coaster opens up at Six Flags Great Adventure in 2024 as Flash Vertical Velocity. Number 12, Whale Breaking the Sky at Fuyi Ocean Happy World. Also in China, this is one of those rides I never thought we'd see open, but here we are. A lot of you might not even recognize it, since its name's changed a handful of times and now it's this monstrosity we have here. The ride was manufactured by Intamin and is their second vertical lift coaster after Fahrenheit at Hershey Park. To me, this looks a lot more drawn out and not nearly as good as its sister coaster on the other side of the planet. Nonetheless, I imagine it'd be a pretty fun ride, just lacking in some forces. Number 11, Matugani at Lost Island. In 2022, this new Iowa theme park debuted without their headlining attraction in operation. This year, we finally got to see how punchy this little Intamin coaster was, and from what I'm hearing, it's great. It's obviously not going to be as powerful as larger accelerator coasters, but with a hydraulic launch, top hat, and 2 distinctly different inversions, I'm definitely eager to get a ride on this thing myself. Number 10, Zebesi Zinger at Worlds of Fun. This is one we probably thought would have ended up higher, but as it turns out, its intensity is more in line with the family coaster, and it does have some noticeable flaws. Its train, I hear, is blatantly uncomfortable, and it's weirdly a little shaky for being such a new ride. But still, it's got a unique layout that hugs the terrain and a spiral lift hill, a first for any wooden coaster. I feel like I might enjoy this one more than some others knowing my tastes, but I had to rank it according to reviews since I haven't gotten around to it yet. Number 9, Storm the Dragon Legend at Tussenfried. This is one of the few new 2023 roller coasters I got to check out in Europe, and after tons of reliability issues, I was so pleased it was open. This was the world's first Gerstlauer inverted thrill coaster, a very unique ride in terms of its layout and how it rides. It has 3 bizarre LSM launches, several inversions loaded with hang time, and my favorite part, an actual ejector airtime hill on an invert. If there is a downside with Storm, it's definitely not the smoothest and feels nothing like a new coaster should. Plus, it's definitely on the shorter side, and I think doing 2 laps around like Gale Force, for example, could be really good. Number 8, Pipeline the Surf Coaster at SeaWorld Orlando. As the name implies, this was B&M's first ever surf coaster, a ride with stand-up seats that bounce to corresponding vertical forces. It's not a ride I thought would rank so highly because the layout always seemed kind of weak to me, but supposedly Pipeline is a lot better than we expected. I've heard that the airtime feels unlike anything else we've seen before, and that makes me really excited to ride it. Number 7, Tron Light Cycle Run at Magic Kingdom. The second year in a row we've had new Vekoma family coasters open at Walt Disney World. Tron is a well-themed experience, mostly indoors with also a bit located outdoors. It's actually a clone of Tron Light Cycle Power Run at Shanghai Disneyland, so for those of you who have ridden that one, Magic Kingdom's probably doesn't feel as unique as it is for most of us. But I think anyone would really enjoy it because its theming does look great, and it's got a 60-mile-per-hour launch, which is actually very impressive for a Disney coaster. Number 6, Big Bear Mountain at Dollywood. Even though I haven't been on this one, I feel like it's fair to say that this is the big sleeper hit of the year. I've heard absolutely amazing reviews from Big Bear Mountain, which is especially interesting since it's a family coaster. With 3 launches and lots of awesome transitions, this looks like such a fun ride. And one of my personal favorite features of it is the onboard audio that gives the experience much more personality. I don't know when I'll be able to get on this thing, but I'd imagine when I do, it'll be one of the best rides at Dollywood. Number 5, Manta at SeaWorld Abu Dhabi. I don't know if this is ranked a bit too high, but only a few people I know have ridden this coaster and they've said great things about it. SeaWorld Abu Dhabi is the newest SeaWorld park to open around the world, and although it's an indoor property, Manta is the one attraction that takes place almost entirely outdoors. Manufactured by Intamin, the ride features 3 launches, 4 inversions, and lots of airtime. It just looks like a pure fun multi-launch coaster, and I think most of us can agree that coasters which fall under this model always turn out awesome. But now, on to the big 4. Let's talk about Dudstus at Park Asterix. This is one of the few roller coasters I've ridden that flawlessly combines theming and layout. The attention to detail is amazing, and I love how much diversity there are in the elements. There's multiple launches, 3 inversions filled with hang time, and loads of airtime. Like Pantheon, which is definitely the ride most similar to this one, my favorite part is the backwards airtime rider's experience on the swing launch section. But the whole thing is so good. If it weren't for 1 or 2 of these elements being duds, Dudstus would be a perfect roller coaster. Number 3, Wildcat's Revenge at Hershey Park. Now we're on to the rides that are absolutely perfect in my opinion. This was the big new RMC conversion of the year, and the company did what they've always done best. They took Wildcat, an absolutely terrible wooden coaster, and converted it into something smooth and exciting. Wildcat's Revenge is an incredibly fast-paced layout filled with more airtime moments than you can count. Unlike most RMCs, the portion in the middle is actually my favorite, with the 2 sideways airtime hills separated by a punchy 0G stall. I absolutely love this coaster, and it currently ranks at the number 15 spot out of 786 roller coasters I've ridden, which means the following rides rank even higher. Number 2, Batman Gotham City Escape at Parque Warner Madrid. For those of you that are big Velocicoaster fans, Batman is basically the next best thing. Intamin combined a world-class layout with so many forceful elements and theming which is unlike anything else you can find in this park. It is actually so immersive, and the onboard narration was a great feature as well. Batman throws you out of your seat on many different occasions, and because of how small the vehicles are, these are paced so fast. But it also isn't afraid to take the right elements slow, and that diversity is something that I love. You guys know I'm not the biggest fan of hang time, but Batman Gotham City Escape has perhaps my favorite moment of hang time ever on that 0G stall. I adore this ride so much. I'm so upset it's located halfway across the world because it means getting back on it is going to be a lot more difficult than several of the rides on this list, including my number 1 coaster to open in 2023, Air Force One at Fun Spot Atlanta. With how much I raved about Batman, Wildcat, and Dudstus, you'd think they'd come close to a number 1 spot, but Air Force One annihilates all of its competition. I'm still left scratching my head how some tiny family entertainment center managed to build one of the best coasters in the world, but they did, and it never has a line. Air Force One is basically a highlight reel for RMC, with almost every element being perfectly executed and the second half being the best section of layout of any RMC in the world. The 6 in a row airtime hills at the end are actually so intense I couldn't believe it was even possible. That alone is my favorite sequence of airtime I've ever experienced, and combined with 4 world-class inversions, plus even more airtime on top of that, Air Force One is an experience unlike anything else out there. I urge all of you watching to get out to Fun Spot Atlanta and show them some love, because what they have here is something truly special. With that said, leave a comment letting me know what your favorite 2023 roller coasters are, and if you enjoyed this video, leave it a like and subscribe to Coaster Dash so you don't miss any content like this in the future. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you very soon. Bye guys.